Hello and welcome back to another edition of Transfer Talk. Whilst this summer window may have closed, there are still plenty of rumours circulating for us to get stuck into. With that in mind, let's get straight into it. We kick things off with Brighton and Hove Albion, who are reportedly willing to negotiate potential offers for midfielder Moses Caicedo in the winter transfer window, according to Terra Deportes. The midfielder had been subject of interest from Liverpool prior to deadline day, with the Reds holding discussions with Graham Potter's side over a move for the player. However, with little time to replace him, the club decided to keep hold of him, despite offers of around £42 million from Liverpool, according to Sky Sports News. Having already seen Yves Bissouma and Marc Cucurella both depart this summer, Brighton were keen to avoid any other big-name departures from their squad, which is why they are unwilling to entertain the idea of selling Caicedo. The Gulls signed the South American for just £4.5 million in 2021, with the player still in contract until the 24-25 season. However, his impressive performances captured the attention of Premier League rivals, with Man United said to have also been interested. Whilst Liverpool did eventually bring in midfielder Arthur on loan, it wouldn't be surprising to see them potentially move for Caicedo. With questions around the performances of Jordan Henderson and Naby Keita's contract running down, they will be in need of further reinforcements. Whether he leaves in January or not, Brighton is probably expecting a host of suitors to come knocking as the season progresses. It has been quite a busy few days for Wolverhampton Wanderers since the closing of the summer window, with the club pursuing a striker on a free, having been linked with former Chelsea player Diego Costa. However, their move for the Spanish international has seemingly been hit by a potential hurdle in his work permit being rejected by the UK government. With the move for the former Atleti man being thrown into uncertainty, Wolves have now been left scrambling to find a potential backup, with the Telegraph linking them to Andy Carroll. The 33-year-old English international has been a free agent since his deal with West Bromwich Albion came to an end after just one season, after the club announced he would leave the Hawthorns in April of this year. Bruno Lage's side are seemingly desperate to secure another forward option, after £15 million summer signing Sasa Kaladzic injured his ACL on debut, ruling him out of action for some time, whilst their other striker Raul Jimenez is also out on the sidelines. As the club scramble to secure one of the two possible choices, it will be interesting to see which player they end up signing. Having seen their reported agreement for a club record fee fall apart at the 11th hour, Leeds United are expected to move again for PSV's Cody Gakpo in January. The Dutchman had seemingly all but agreed to join the Premier League outfit. However, some last-minute persuasion from PSV sporting director John de Jong managed to convince the player to stay put in Eindhoven for the time being. Whilst there are claims that a fee of around £38 million was agreed on, de Jong states that the offer from Leeds was simply not good enough for what the Dutch club were looking to get in for their star player, who has already contributed 9 goals in just 5 league appearances so far this term. Jesse Marsch has made Gakpo his chief target for the upcoming January window. However, Romano has reported there will be a host of other clubs that will also be interested, making the race for his signature a competitive one. With January still some time off, will we see Gakpo up sticks and join the Premier League in the winter window, or will he remain at PSV? Let us know in the comments section. Moving on to Chelsea now, have had quite a turbulent start to the campaign, something which has seemingly continued off the field, with a report from the Evening Standard suggesting that goalkeeper Edouard Mendy has rejected the club's offer to renew his contract. The Senegalese international has not enjoyed the best of starts to 22-23, having seen his performances take a hit in recent games, which has drawn criticism from supporters. Despite his current deal running until 2025, the Blues have made a move to extend his stay further, with the side offering renewals to players including Mason Mount and Reece James. However, Mendy has reportedly refused the terms offered to him by Chelsea, which may come as something of a surprise, given there has been no hint of the player being unhappy at the London side. According to the source, the club has put forward terms that are inferior to that of the out-of-favour Kepa Arrizabalaga, who is on £190,000 per week. Whilst the exact reasoning is not clear as to why Mendy has rejected the deal, it remains to be seen whether or not this will impact his future at Stamford Bridge. However, given his deal has a few years to run, it would be surprising if he were to leave. Chelsea fans, let us know what you think about this news. Do you want Mendy out the door, or do you want him to extend his current deal? Let us know in the comments below. Switching things over to the northwest of England now, where both Man United and Liverpool are said to be monitoring the situation of Barcelona youngster Gavi, according to Bild. The Spanish international is currently in the midst of negotiations with his boyhood club over the renewal of his deal, which is set to expire next summer. Gavi had previously agreed terms with the club, although following their financial and registration issues, talks grinded to a halt. which has put clubs in Europe on alert, with an agreement still yet to be made since the initial talks took place. While Barca are confident of the player accepting a new deal with the club, the Spaniard and his entourage are said to have been frustrated by the delays and links to other signings like Bernardo Silva during the summer. Given he is one of the Blaugrana's most prized assets, they are likely to want to wrap up a deal as fast as possible. However, fresh interest from other sides has made the situation a little more complicated for the La Liga side. The teenager has continued his strong form this season, often seen as a starter for Gavi, which just further highlights his importance to the club. Will he remain with them beyond next summer, or could you see him in the Premier League next season? Head over to the Sky Sports app via the QR code on your screen for the latest updates on this one. We head back over to Chelsea now, have been linked with a returning bid in January for Ajax's Edson Alvarez, according to a report from the Evening Standard. The Blues did make a deadline day approach for the Mexican international, with a £43 million fee being rejected by the Dutch outfit, who didn't want to lose yet another key player at the very end of the window. Despite the fact that the player did openly express his desire to depart for London, he did eventually end up having to stay and continue playing for the Eredivisie champions, although that may not be for much longer. Whilst Chelsea did bring in Denis Zakaria on loan from Juventus during the final hours of deadline day, Alvarez still remains their top target to add further depth to their midfield options. With N'Golo Kante continually struggling for fitness and Jorginho potentially looking to run down his contract, which expires next summer, Todd Boehly might once again find himself opening up his chequebook when January eventually rolls around. Having already seen their first bid rejected, it looks as if Chelsea will have to spend big to prize Alvarez away from Ajax, although just how much it would cost them will certainly prove to be an interesting development to watch. Now guys, we conclude today's episode with the breaking news that Chelsea have decided to sack Thomas Tuchel, following their latest defeat to Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League. The Blues have not had the best start to the season, having lost 3-0 to Leeds and most recently 2-1 to Southampton. The performances from the side have been far from convincing. Tuchel had been critical of his team as early as pre-season, after a crushing 4-0 defeat to Arsenal. He openly questioned the quality of his squad, seemingly criticising their level and showing his unhappiness with their transfer dealings up to that point. However, since then, Chelsea have spent a little over £250 million in the summer market, which was certain to put pressure on the German coach, with the club having spent big on the likes of Raheem Sterling, Kalidou Koulibaly and Wesley Fofana. Whilst his tenure may not have ended on the best of terms, Tuchel certainly enjoyed success at Stamford Bridge, winning the Champions League while also reaching the EFL Cup final and the FA Cup final twice in that time. He was also named UEFA Coach of the Year in 2021. Given that the season is already underway, it seems there isn't an abundance of names being put forward for the now vacant job at Stamford Bridge. However, the most linked names so far have been Mauricio Pochettino, Zinedine Zidane and Graham Potter. The Argentine and the Frenchman are both currently not in a job, with Poch having been dismissed from PSG last season, while Zizou has been out of work since deciding to leave Real Madrid at the end of the 2021 campaign. Graham Potter's name has been circulating heavily, with the Telegraph reporting that the Englishman is the current favourite for the job. Andy Naylor of The Athletic has also stated that Brighton would not stop Potter from entering into discussions with Chelsea. However, they were also confident that he would not leave the club with the season having already begun. With the search very much underway for their new head coach, it will be an interesting development to see who takes over the Stamford Bridge hot seat. Who do you think though is the best candidate for the role? Let us know in the comments below. So guys, that was transfer talk for another week, but the big story is obviously Thomas Tuchel. What did you guys think of his sacking? And do you think Todd Boehly has gone a little bit mad after spending £250 million on the summer and sacking their coach 7 games into the season? I certainly do so. Let me know who'd be your preferred candidate to take over too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Football Daily, and I'll catch you next time.